quick with this. But I think it's very, very interesting. Obviously, nobody sees bench press as like overly important for wide receivers. You want to be strong against the bump and run, obviously. You want to be able to protect yourself there, right? But when you look at some of these, I want you to key in on Deion Burks. Emilio, find him on our board. Where is Deion Burks, wide receiver out of Oklahoma? Where do we have him ranked on our board? He ran a 4.30 40-yard dash, damn near a 4.2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where's he at on our board right now?
Boy, Deion is 142 on the board. Wide receiver, kick returner. Oklahoma, he was at the Senior Bowl as well.
What brung him down on our board, do you feel like? What's the one or two things that really sticks out?
Really, the three things. 23, he was 488. 24, he was 416. And 25, he was 550. So we're probably not even considering the 23 and 24 grade. We have to consider the 550. What's helping him bring that down, it was a 90 on PFF's board and 115 on consensus. So pre everything else, he had a 251 average. After we got in DJ, which had him at 46, and Tankathon had him at 90, he got a -5 RAS from us. That brings his average all the way down to 124. So it looks like, wasn't performing super well in season those 3 years, but everybody coming into the draft has liked him. DJ had him in his top 50 off the bat. Like that's
crazy.
That's big. Yeah. He weighed in at 180, 29 3/8 inch arms. It's someone that you could get behind if you're looking for that.
Yeah. Looks like a mini cheetah, right?
Yeah.
Like
here's what,
like, do we have a special teams on him? Like, what does he look like on teams?
Says we have him marked as a kick returner. Clay put him in there as a wide receiver.
Okay.
Kick returner.
See, now me like
one of
that a little bit.
the top 10 kick returners in college football, Tim. Great question. So now the question is, where could you potentially get him? Here's what I want to point out. 4.30 right? What do y'all see this? Bench press, 26 reps. Both him and Jordan Tyson did 26 reps of 225-pound bench press. So this dude is fast as lightning, stronger than a bull, right? He's a great kick returner.
Yep.
The only problem is, like Emilio said, the PFF grades were cheeks all 3 years, right? Yeah. So it's like,
although PFF's a little higher on them or on him, they got
where they have him now
94 on their board overall.
Okay.
Is that 100?
Again, I got to check my Uber app and see if they can clear this up for me. But
you're such a smart ass. Emilio, where was he before on PFF?
90th.
Okay, so we don't touch it, right? We're good. All right.
But no, that's a and you know what? When I was listening to DJ, he was saying, speed is great. It's it's nice to have if you want a long, thin frame, whatever. But he said once it gets down to the nitty gritty, you think about Puka, you think about guys like that. You need to be able to. You want to create separation, obviously, but you're going to have to at some point catch a contested ball. You're going to have to go through somebody to catch the ball. You're going to need to be able to size speed to convert that. And that's where I think he's starting to kind of just change maybe his take on some wide receivers a little bit. You want them physically able to handle a contested catch, physically able to, get in position, box them out. You saw some of those. I mean, there's a lot of big wide receivers this year. There's a lot of 6'3 plus, 6'2, 6'3, 6'4s. So you get a couple of guys down there go and get a rebound basically, and you get them out there wide receiver. I'm all for that. It's like me in college football, Clay. I used to always go after the speedsters. You know what I mean? Recruit the speedster. I found the contested catch specialists. They're basically running the same exact speed. They're still in the 90s. I'll take that all day long.
Unbelievable. You know what I like? I like those guys that can move side to side. If they've got that, what's the juke weapon called
Shifty.
On that? What is it? Shifty?
Shifty. Yeah, with a little joystick emblem.
Man, give me a little bubble screen on the outside.
Oh boy,
it's on like a on, baby. So Deion Burks also though, 42.5-inch vertical. What's hurt his RAS? His RAS is good. Don't get me wrong. His RAS is God. I just had it.
He had a -5 on the board.
Yeah. No, it's a 9.52. But how in the hell did he not score upwards of a 10 here? You know what I'm saying? Because
got to be his height and weight.
I was just going to say, is that what's pulling him down?
Yeah.
But I'm going to look right now. I'm going to be able to tell you right now. I'm going to click off screen here. Denzel Burks, the link. So his RAS card, as it sits right now, 9.52. Yes, composite size grade is very poor. Very poor. All right. Height 5'9". So that scored a 2. His weight 180 pounds. That scored a 2.
Wow.
Bench press. How the hell are you 5'9", 180 and throwing up 26 reps? Can somebody help me?
And with a damn near 43-inch vert. Let's go.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah, and it's not like he has crazy short arms, 29 and 3/8. That's, I mean, you're not just dropping the bar down and bouncing it off the chest there. You're going to have to rep that.
Yep.
You guys, you may, Emilio, I don't mean this in a mean way at all. And I'm probably off base here, okay?
I'm already taking it mean way.
You may be too young to remember a guy named, I think his name was Dante Hall for the Chiefs, return.
Yeah, okay. Corner?
Human joystick. I thought he was a receiver.
No, he was a receiver. No, you're right. He
was just a kick return. Man, unbelievable.
Yes, I remember. Yep.
And I remember him being smaller in stature. You know what I'm saying? So who knows, man? Maybe we're looking up in 3 years and going, damn, Deion Burks is a weapon in the return game, right?
If you can play big, you can eat big, right? It doesn't matter what your build is.
Let's see what the broad jump was. So he dropped a little bit there, 10'11", not horrible, right? But obviously not the best. 3-cone, did he have much agility? Must not have did the 3-cone. So we don't have.
You know who I also like? Bryce Lance with his numbers. I see Gute taking a peek there too. I'm not kidding.
Yep. There was a big argument on that earlier on Twitter. Surprise, right?
Oh boy!
And people were like, "Hey, no way you should draft a receiver." And it's like, you do realize there's only 2 receivers under contract right now in 2027. Like, if you think there's not a sneaky need for a receiver to work into the fold like we just did with Savion Williams and Matthew Golden, because again, man, you can't keep all these guys. Hopefully, they keep Christian Watson. I hope they keep Jaden Reed, right? So if you keep those 2. And then you've got Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. There's going to be probably 2 more spots on the roster, right, Tim?
Yeah. Like, especially knowing that, Rome's as good as gone, right? So you've got to think about that. And then you talk about special teams ability, right? Rome had to pick up the slack for us in the return game last year. You got that guy out of the room. Savion Williams is a guy that I'd like to see back there maybe on occasion, but what is your game plan going forward? Because I agree with you, Clay. I think Scoot and Bird are – they're your locks. And then, we're going to continue to go forward with, Matthew Golden's development and things like that. But I don't think it's off base at all to think you could snatch up a receiver in this draft to kind of round out your room.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. For sure. I love what J. Cole says. Not saying that he does this, but in my old neighborhood, we call that crackhead strength.
Be a crackhead that got hold to the wrong stuff.
I'm not going to lie. I was faded. I ain't going to lie. I was faded. Like,
that's a great combo. We had Lance 6'3", 204, 32 1/8-inch arms, ran a 4.34. I feel like any wide receiver with a 4.3 over 6 foot, Gute has an asterisk next to.
He's a grown ass man now. And
thanks, Coach. Let's see here. Janice in the chat says Matt Golden is not participating in on-field drills at the 2026 Scouting Combine due to an injury sustained at the end of the season. That's someone that we've talked a lot about. Janice mentioned Matt Golden, and obviously we added him to the board, and he was pretty high on the board, so it sounds like we need to light him up red potentially. Emilio, I know you stepped away, but we'll make a note and make sure that we make Matt Golden, the center. Remember, we worked him into the board the other day, and we're like, holy cow, this guy looked pretty good.
Michigan State, yep.
Evidently, he's not participating. According to Janice here, he's not participating because an injury sustained at the end of the season. So I would just light that up red instead of pink, meaning for RAS, he's hurt, and then maybe 2025 stamp him with the red just to kind of, not his name, but just the box. We'll make a decision on whether or not he should drop or not. So, going to be very, very interesting to see how everything shakes out here, man. And again, Deion Burks, I know there's people saying, no way do we better not take a receiver. Keep that same energy when we get to November next season and everybody's pissed at the special teams isn't better, right? These are the type of people that you need to spend a draft pick on. These are the type of guys that you need to spend money on in free agency if you want your special teams to get better in terms of the return game and other aspects. You got to be willing to invest there, I agree. I don't like the idea of drafting a receiver, but if one falls in your lap that can help you on special teams like potentially a Deion Burks, again, man, 146 on our board when I took it down, and he was listed as one of the top 10 kick returners in the nation. Another one people have talked about, and we'll hit it real quick and wrap up, is Weegan. I think I've seen Weegan on this list. Yeah, so Caden Weegan out of Iowa. another great kick returner. He's on our board now. We had him at 413, so he was significantly lower on our board, but one of the best kickoff return guys in the league. I want to say he was a punt returner too. I could be wrong, but he ran a 4.47. And you know who I think
similar
of?
body type too, right? 5'9", 190, something like that. Yeah.
5'9", 193, 29 and 5/8.
Yep.
And when I see Weegan and I see that 4.47, my mind immediately goes to Randall Cobb. He ran a 4.4, right?
Yeah.
I remember correctly, it was like a 4.45 or a 4.47, something like that. So again, a 4.4, not horrible there, but he's great in space. I would imagine his 10-yard split might be decent for how small he is. Maybe not. Let's see here. Where's our boy? He's actually at the bottom, 158. So not so much with the 10-yard split. I wonder what his agility and everything look like. 3-cone. There you go. 6.95. So really good, really agile, moving in space, right? And probably making guys mix. The shuttle, 20-yard shuttle, there's just a handful of guys that did it. He did a 4.44 there. Did he do bench press? I'm eager to see. He did not bench. Okay, I don't blame him, little guy. Broad jump, Weegan, not much explosion there, right? So it really what you're getting in Weegan is lateral agility, right? Lateral explosion, lateral agility. So
Soder in the chat saying he's punt and kick returner though, so that's good. You know, some guys are return specialists, but they're kind of one dimensional. Here's a guy who can do both. Yep.
Yeah, great. Appreciate that. Thank you, Soder, for that information. Emilio, you got anything else you want to hit before we wrap up, man? Anything else you want to see here? Any information you're lacking that you might need to take a peek at?
No, I just look. Sneaky need for wide receivers is feel like it's something you just got to keep in mind there. Chris Braswell, 6'4", ran a 4.37. Bryce Lance, 6'3", ran a 4.34. Deshaun Stribling, 6'2", ran a 4.36. A lot of tall dudes running fast. There we had who else? There was one other here. Jeff Caldwell out of Cincy, 6'5", 216. He ran a 4.31. Okay. I wouldn't be opposed if Gute finds something that he likes. Caleb Douglas out of Texas Tech, 6'3.5", 200 pound, 206, ran a 4.39. Anybody with 4.3 over 6 foot, I think you've got to keep an eye out for.
And it looks like
this receiving is tough.
That was perfect. It looks like this receiving stuff. Chris Braswell, I was trying to pull his RAS card here real quick. So it's incomplete. All right. But this is what Emilio's talking about. I'll throw it on screen real quick. He's out of Tennessee. Are we showing a 5? I thought I gave him a 5-point bonus, or did I not for Braswell?
No, he doesn't have one on there.
Yeah. All right. So here's his card currently. 6'4", 198 pounds, ran a 4.3740. I mean, you're talking about a dude, Christian Watson is what we're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. He's built like Christian Watson. Actually, a little bit thicker than Christian Watson probably was coming in. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe Braswell's a little slimmer. But
coming off the best season of his college career, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and playing down here in the SEC. Again, he's one of those guys, Malachi Fields doesn't have the speed he has, but he's great at contested catches, right? You look at Braswell, he's got that take the top off speed, but is he as good at Malachi Fields as contested catches? Probably not. He should be at 6'4". But again, just somebody to kind of keep an eye on there as well. I'm eager to see where he ends up being drafted too. So, all right, boys, I think we covered everything, man. Anything else? We good?
I think we're good.
All right. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up there, gang. Appreciate everybody jumping in there and hanging out with us. You guys are awesome. If you would, smash that like button for us. We greatly appreciate it. We're going to be back live in the morning, and we'll kind of reset everything with some of the RASs and talk a little O-line and get ready for the bench press as the combine's going to wrap up, obviously, tomorrow. And then it's going to be get all this information in our draft board. Emilio, you posted a link in the draft board earlier in our Patreon group, right?
So once I get the rest of the O-line in tonight, I'll put a new one in there with the height weights and stuff. It's just easier for me to have every tab open to everybody in Patreon. I'm closing them and moving them and reorganizing them all the time, so I just didn't want y'all to have to deal with me being all over the place with it. So I got you your own link.
I'll do a quick cross-check, too, for the wide receivers because I put that information in early. We had the bench press come in, so if something changed, we'll get the proper RAS bonus in. And then we'll wait until after the bench press tomorrow and all that stuff's finalized with the O-line. We'll get the RASs there. So, again, you guys have the link. If you want access to that, you can find that at patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. Again, $3 gets you access to everything, including your own copy of our draft board. You can just click on it at any time, check it out. And obviously, we got the chats going on over there. I'll continue to put out articles as the top 30 visits roll in, and we get confirmation from Easton Butler and others on some of these visits with the Packers at the Combine. We'll get more cheese emojis put up. He hasn't updated his spreadsheet, so I'm a little hesitant on firing these out there until we get kind of double and triple confirmation.
Sure. And just to get this to Rodney before we leave, man, where's Vinny Anthony? We have him 438th on the board. Wide receiver, kick returner out of Wisconsin. He was at the Senior Bowl. Packers have met with him. 6 foot 183, 31 1/8, 4.54, and he's got the -1 RAS. So undrafted, late round kind of guy, if that's where we're looking.
PFF's higher on him, 239 on their board right now.
Right. I was trying to see too if I can pull his.
What'd you say, Tim? 239.
239. Vinny.
We had him at 375. So let's up our boy here. So 239.
Got it.
So he's going to jump up to 307 on PFF after we average that out, and that will bring him up to one more sort. Our boy Vinny is now in the 419 spot. So he's
a couple spots. He moved up.
We'll take it. Priority free agent, something like that.
Yep. And again, he is one of those guys that we listed as you might be able to get him undrafted or extremely late in the draft and potentially pick up a good kick returner. Here's his RAS card. It's pretty much complete, I think, other than the broad jump. The size, obviously poor there at 6 foot 183. 20 reps on the bench, not bad there. That scored out in the green, actually. Vertical jump only 34.5. 40-yard dash was 4.54. Although the composite speed grade did come out to good, right? He had a 4.54 40, and it looked like that was a pretty balanced 40. The 10-yard split was a 1.59, scoring a 5.90. But the agility grade is great, and which explains why he's a good kick returner, right? You had a shuttle of 4.07 and a 3-cone of 6.86. So that's your Vinny Anthony update here on PTA. So, all right. Appreciate everybody hanging out. If y'all would smash that like button for us, hit subscribe, click the bell icon. Also, we are now wherever you find your podcast, just look for Packers Total Access, Packer Fan Total Access. Even if you just watch on YouTube and you want to help us out, just wherever you get your podcast, search Packers Total Access and find us. You'll see it's one of the newer ones. There'll be less episodes uploaded there. There's one out there floating that's got one upload. Obviously, that's not us. We go live, I don't know, multiple times a day, so we got more than that. I need to get that one deleted somehow, some way. But, again, you'll be able to find us wherever you get your podcast. So just make sure you guys give us a follow there. Everybody in the chat, you guys were awesome. Tim, Emilio, appreciate your time. We will be back tomorrow. My name's Clayton. That's Tim. That's Emilio. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
There we go.
Bye, guys.